Hello, and welcome to Don't Tail This, a sports betting podcast for fans of both football and losing money. I'm your host, Al Mannarino. With me, as always, is my co-host and CEO of Losing, Mr. Ben Murchison. What's up, Ben?
That is not a title that I particularly want to embrace at all. But what's up, man? Happy to talk football with you. Hopefully, we're crafting some winners today.
Are you saying that these intros have been a little negative?
I think they seem a little negative. Obviously, that's kind of like something we're leaning into a bit, but I don't know if necessarily calling me the CEO of Losing is something that I want to roll with. I mean, if I'm the CEO, what are you in this scenario?
I'm probably co-founder.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've taken a step back in the company, but I founded
You don't want to
it.
be blamed when shit goes sideways. Is what you're saying.
Absolutely not.
You'll show up to the board meetings and be like, "Do better, guys.
Yeah.
Do better."
Guys should be doing better. All right. So last week we crafted a few milestone parlays. We actually did a couple episodes last week, but the last episode we did was about milestones. Since then, have any of those players gotten injured?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, good.
A lot of other guys, but we didn't pick those guys.
All right. Well, that means we're still in play. So that's all that matters. So what kind of futures are we looking at today?
Yes, today we're going to be picking our favorite, well, not just our favorite, we're going to pick our division winners, and we're going to parlay them together. Might end up with more than 4. We'll see how many we actually agree on. Last year, I know we've talked about it. We were really close in our picks. I think we had a couple different versions of the parlays. Obviously, like the hedge your bets. But I think in every version of those, we picked the 49ers to win the West.
Every single one.
So we lost every single one. Yeah, they ruined it.
Yep. I also had the Dolphins ruin a couple of mine. They were atrocious last year.
That one's your own fault. I feel like you need to take ownership of that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Let's not make those mistakes again, though. I'm sure we'll make different ones. We'll make different mistakes. Mistakes will be made either way.
Who's this year's 49ers? Let's find out.
We're going to find them. If we're just listening to this, you're going to figure it out really quick. So yeah, we're going to go through each division, make our picks. The ones we agree on, we'll add to an ill-advised parlay. Ready to go?
I'm ready. Where are we starting?
Let's do it. Well, let's just start at the way that I saw them listed in all the books. So we'll start at the top. The tippy top, AFC North, where we have the Ravens at -170. Clear favorites in that division. But if you listen to our previous episode, we do love ourselves some Cincinnati Bengals. They're at +280. The Pittsburgh Steelers and Aaron Rodgers himself, +500. Not just, I think it's kind of funny, they're 500, +500. They always finish 500. There's kind of correlation somewhere in Vegas. And then Browns. If you really believe in those Cleveland Browns, +4,000 to come out on top of the AFC North. I know me personally, I'm a Ravens guy. I think they can get over the /Bills/Chiefs hump in the playoffs, but won't need to do that to get out of this division. I think they're my pick, obviously. Unless you're really, really high on the Bengals, more so than we've let on. Are you with me?
I'm totally with you. I mean, I haven't followed the Ravens offseason as closely as I probably should have, but I know they drafted pretty well.
They're already, for the most part, they maintain their roster. And to me, I have a soft spot for one Keaton Mitchell, who's coming back healthy off of injury. East Carolina product, so that's completely a bias. But
100%.
I do expect him to be worked into the offense quite a bit. He had a really good preseason so far, and if he can stay healthy, he's a huge difference maker for that team, and they don't really need much help.
And they still have someone named Lamar Jackson. They still have another guy named Derrick Henry, and they have one of the best, honestly, one of the best, I would say, top 10, top 15 receivers in the league with Zay Flowers. Talk about explosive. Talk about like a true connection from Lamar. And they have a great defense. They've always kind of had a great defense. I don't really remember the Ravens without a great defense, like since I've existed. So I think it's an obvious choice, mostly because, like, what are we dealing with the rest? We have the Browns, which is laughable at this point. They have 5 barely a quarterback.
The Browns.
Yeah, and then we have the Steelers, which we talked about in length of, like, do we see Rodgers succeeding? Maybe. Do we see the Steelers as a whole succeeding? Maybe not. And I think 500 is totally on par. It's really the Bengals who are the big wild card, as always, is like, okay, the most explosive offense we've talked about already at length in 2 episodes, but where is the defense? They did nothing in the offseason. They literally have one of the top 3 defensive players in the league, and they haven't signed him yet.
Yeah, it seems, I mean, he's going to play. I think the majority of these guys, maybe outside of Micah Parsons right now, seem like it's just inevitable that it's going to get done. But yeah, I mean, the Bengals are the only team that would challenge the Ravens in my mind just because their offense, they can outscore anybody. The Ravens are also getting a ton of chunk plays in the passing game and the run games. Yeah, I think that they're still the class of the AFC North. Yeah, Bengals are closing in on them. But yeah,
Ravens -170.
Ravens -170 going on the ticket, which leads us to the AFC East. I think we're probably also going to agree here. The
Yeah.
Bills at -330.
It's Jets, right?
Jets, baby. Let's go. No, the Bills are at -330, and then there's just a bunch of long shots, to really make the playoffs. You have the Patriots are at +475, so that already shows like how big of a gap there is between first and second. The Dolphins at +1000, which seems high for them, honestly. Like, I don't know. Apparently, nobody has any belief in like Tua making it through a season, or maybe Tyreek Hill making it through a full season. Devon Achane has already like hurt a little bit, so it's got to be some correlation of all those things together. But +1000, and then Jets +1900. So yeah, I mean, to me, there's a lot of things to like about the Patriots. I do like Drake May. I think he has a lot of potential to be good in this league. Trayvon Henderson is going to be a good running back just based off of, college tape and everybody talking, through what he can bring. My real issues with them is they don't have the defense to really hold scores tight, I think, or to keep teams under 30 points. And then their number one wide receiver is Stephon Diggs. And it's not 5 years ago Stephon Diggs. It's, this year's Stephon Diggs. So I don't see a lot happening on the offensive side of the ball to win. I don't think the defense can keep them in close games, basically.
Yeah, I mean, what we saw of Diggs we'll just go right to the Patriots at this point, but what we saw of Diggs on the Texans was pretty good. Like, he was getting touchdowns. He was really like a goal line target for Stroud. Then he got hurt, and now we're getting an older wide receiver on his like third team in 4 years or something. Not even third team in 3 years, I think.
Yeah, I think he just keeps bouncing at this point.
Yeah, so is he like a true wide receiver one for the Patriots? I guess
they paid him like it, but no, I don't think like his physical attributes match up to that.
He was
anymore.
Basically a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 in Houston, but like we're going from Houston, who had Nico Collins and Tank Dell, who are just giving receivers out like hotcakes now, apparently, because Mechie's gone. I was like, why would you get rid of him? Like, he's great. Anyway.
You're only saying that because we used him in a lot of parlays.
We did use him in a lot of parlays. And look how that worked out. So, I mean, like, I totally agree with you. I do like what the Patriots have done the last couple of years, rebuilding the offense, drafted a great running back, all good moves. Defense is still like in the rebuilding phase. We got a new coach. Like, they're currently losing in the preseason to the Giants right now, but just throwing that out there. I'm never putting the Dolphins are on my no list as a division winner. And the Jets are the Jets. So like Josh Allen is
really
the MVP.
Yeah, we could have said AFC East, Bills have Josh Allen, moving on. Like,
moving on.
We didn't have to talk anymore, but, we went on for a little bit of insight.
And I wouldn't even include that in our parlay anyway. -330 is not really any sort of, like, doesn't excite me in any way.
It's not going to help. Like, it's the off chance that something were to happen to Josh Allen and then they're, reduced to nothing that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say to our listeners, we're not necessarily going to do this, but, like, taking, like, a little side bet for the Patriots to be the division winner at +475 isn't terrible. I mean, it really has to be, though, the Bills just completely shitting the bed. I will say, too, one thing is that the Patriots have the third, I was about to say, all right, I'm trying to rephrase this. They have one of the easiest schedules. They have the third easiest schedule, 30th.
You could just say they had the 30th strength of schedule. Yeah, compared.
Shut up.
I mean, shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth.
But that whole division has a easy schedule. I mean, the Bills have the 23rd easiest schedule. So really, the only way the Bills could quote unquote shit the bed is if Josh Allen is not in the bed. I don't know how
he would have to regress so hard for them.
I don't think
it's
a regression thing. Like, if he's playing, they're winning the division. So, and I don't want to wish an injury on anybody. So I don't think there's any way that they don't come ahead in that one. So, I get what you're saying though. At -330, is it even worth like adding them tentatively? We'll see what the parlay comes out to, but that is a consensus pick for the winning the division. AFC South, man, there's really, I don't know if there's much to talk about here either, but I will say every team in the division is plus monies. Texans at plus 105 lead the way. Jacksonville Jaguars at plus 300. The Colts just behind them at plus 370. Now, I know Danny Dimes was named the starter, so that could sway you a little bit.
Did the odds go down?
I don't know. I wish
Did
I
the
had
odds
it
get
before.
greater?
I don't know if that would help or hurt. And the Titans are plus 650. I don't think anybody's looking at them. But yeah, the AFC South, at least as a division, is a little bit more up in the air. In case CJ Stroud takes another step back, like he had a great rookie year, second year people kind of gave him crap, even though statistically it wasn't that bad. Unless he takes another huge leap down, maybe the run game doesn't get off the ground because Joe Mixon's hurt. Some other factors kind of come into play. I could see maybe them having some issues, but really who would be challenging them? I think we're both going to say not the Colts for reasons that we've already made clear. So It would be the Jaguars. So what are your thoughts on the Jaguars?
All right. So positives. I will say that Brian Thomas Jr. looked absolutely incredible last year. He was one of the top wide receivers in the league last year, and he was in his rookie season. He was dynamite. That's kind of it.
That's it, and right?
I was gonna zag here and say, talk me against the Titans.
No, I'm
serious.
650. Okay.
If the Texans shit the bed, like if they are, and I'm going to try to find a better phrase, but if the Texans are not good this year, don't perform well, and they made the play, they won the division without playing well last year. What's to stop us from seeing another Jaden Daniels ascent with Cam Ward?
I mean, because I'm a Commanders fan, I have a lot of inside, I guess, knowledge about, well, not inside knowledge, but just knowledge because I studied them a lot. So I knew all the veteran presidents that they brought in, there's a Bobby Wagner coming to join the team, Frankie Louvu was very talented. They did a lot around them to kind of prepare, I guess, Jaden. And then I think Jaden's a special player. I don't think you're going to get a Jaden-esque performance. I mean, it was one of the best rookie years anybody's ever had in the history of the NFL. I don't think that Cam Ward is coming to as good a situation as Jaden Daniels was coming into. And I also don't think that, you have Calvin Ridley, I suppose, as a weapon. I don't think he has a lot else around him to rely on. And Jaden, a lot of Jaden's success came from, the pocket breaking down and him kind of reading the defense and making something happen with his legs or extending plays. And I don't know that Cam Ward's really at that point either. So you're not going to be able to talk me into it in terms of somebody coming out of nowhere to win the division. I do think the Jaguars, if Trevor Lawrence were to play better, essentially, which this is another quarterback that I think he has a huge contract, so I don't know what you really do, but he needs to show something this season. So yeah, if it's not the Jaguars, I definitely don't see it happening with the Colts because of their quarterback situation. So yeah, I think this is another year where the Texans don't have to be that good, but they can just win the division because they're the best of it.
What was their record last year? So because I'm not trying to force the Titans on you, but I'm trying to figure out if the Titans are surprisingly good and the Jaguars remain kind of mediocre at best, what is
Jaguars again?
I'm saying Jaguars because that's right now they're the second best odds. So
I just thought he hit me with a Jaguars or something.
Jaguars? Jaguars? Jaguars.
Pronunciations. Just want to make sure I hear clearly.
So if the Texans don't play as well as expected, but really I think the defense is too good to not be great, in terms of winning the division. I don't trust the Jags enough. You already know my thoughts about the Colts. The Titans are a question mark just because we don't know how good Cam Ward is going to be. And like I said, he's getting the keys to the castle immediately. So it could be super rough for him going out. It could be a Bryce Young situation, or it could be a Jaden Daniels situation, or it could be somewhere in the middle. So it's I
just think the keys to
the middle is still in the worst division possible. So there's so you're saying there's a chance?
No, well, I'm not saying that. The Titans, okay, for the record, I had to look it up. I knew they were bad because the Commanders blew the hell out of them. They were 3-14. I think that the Cam Warner's inheriting the keys to a castle that's in need of a lot of repair. Maybe just a complete tear down.
It's a run-down castle.
It's overrun by something that makes it uninhabitable. Yeah, they need a lot of help. They're not there in 1 year because Cam Ward comes in and sets the world on storm. There's plenty of Drake May sucked. Drake May was good last year on a really shitty Patriots team, but he showed promise. I think that could be a similar thing where we see Cam Ward, he gets some pieces around him, he kind of gets a better team, built in. Then yeah, he might be able to do something, but it's not going to happen this season.
All right, I will go with Texans on this one.
Okay. This is the most anybody's ever discussed the Titans in a division winner podcast this season.
A few years ago, we had a worst to first with the Jaguars, right? It was, I think, 2 or 3 seasons ago where they Jaguars. What do you want me to say? Jaguars. Fuck
Maybe
off.
Just the Jags.
I'll say Jags.
If you could just call them Jacksonville moving forward, that'd be great.
I'm going to start calling them the Jaguars.
Oh, man.
All right, go to AFC West.
Yes, Texans are the pick at plus 105. They're added. AFC West. So the Chiefs, minus 115. Surprisingly, a team we haven't talked that much about so far. I am of the opinion that their reign of terror could be coming to a close pretty soon. Don't know that it's this year. The Broncos, right behind them at plus 250. The Chargers at plus 350. I know how much you love Justin Herbert. Can't wait to hear you talk about him. And then the Raiders at plus 2,200. I hope that you're not going to try to make any sort of pitch for the Raiders.
I'm kidding.
It's hear me out.
Hear me out.
Brock Bowers plays quarterback.
Yeah. Well, they have Geno now.
Yeah, they do actually, which makes me it's surprising that plus 2,200 for them versus some of the other teams. And I think
the rest of the team is
the
rest of the team is trash.
Yeah,
it's a trash team.
It's a trash team. But yeah, so you gave me a look when I said I think the Chiefs' reign of terror could be coming to a close soon. So why don't you just start us off? Talk about the Chiefs and if you think that they got this division.
Nah, they've only gotten stronger. Last year they had 11 wins, that were just 1-score wins, which is absolutely insane. They got lucky so many times.
Mahomes can't keep getting away with it. I remember every game we were seriously, you're not that good and you're still winning. Yeah.
Mahomes had a terrible season. Kelsey had his worst season in almost ever. They were without Rashee Rice. They were picking up wide receivers during the season just to stay afloat. But there's so many positives going into the season. Xavier Worthy going into year 2, I think he showed that he's such a versatile playmaker, both with the run game and just crazy explosive. Literally one of the fastest people on the planet as a receiver. Rashee Rice will be back, I believe, for the first 4 games. I have to double check that, or he might make the whole season. I saw some news item about it though, so I'll just look that up while I'm talking.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh wait, I'm not done. I'm not done.
No, you're not.
They
also give you a chance to do your research,
No, but they also had one of the best, God damn, I can't believe they're getting away with this moments in the draft where they got one of the best linemen that everyone was worried about because oh, he's coming off an injury, but in any other draft he would have been a top 5 pick, and they got him, and apparently he looks amazing.
Of course he does.
So. And it's the Chiefs. Come on. It's Andy Reid. You think he's gonna wait? Were they terrible last season? We're saying so many negative things. Oh no, they went to the Super Bowl.
They were 15-2 and they went to the Super Bowl.
Can we move on to the next one?
Yeah, well, yes, we can. I agree. I agree. I'm trying to say more of. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say at this point because I think their dominance of the AFC has just been hanging on by a thread when you've got teams like, the Ravens, and you've got teams like the Bills that seem like they're due, but yet they're not the ones that, keep getting back to the championship. So yeah, if we did move on past the Chiefs, which it doesn't sound like we are because I also have the Chiefs winning the division this year, we have the Broncos, who is a team that I am excited about largely because of, Bo Nix and the success that he had last season, paired with, I think, a better run game this year based off the rookie RJ Harvey. I think he's going to be good. They have a top, I don't know, probably top 5 defense, I would say, in the NFL. They have the middle of the road 15th hardest schedule. Yeah, I think, Cortland Sutton got a contract. So I think the they could potentially challenge, but I think they're going to be more of a dogfight with maybe the Chargers that are, a team that finished just above them last year, more so than with the Chiefs. But they're a team that's on the rise, and I like kind of where they're going, but not enough to knock off the Chiefs. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, I mean, you might have similar thoughts on them. And then the Chargers, Justin Herbert, they did win, I think, 10 games last year, and they made the playoffs, but they just didn't show up after that. So I don't know if you want to talk about them at all.
Yeah, I mean, I agree wholeheartedly about the Broncos. They're definitely on the rise, and I think the Chargers are on the rise too. I mean, we're also can't really talk about playoffs, Playoffs. We
Playoffs.
can't talk about playoffs right now because it's not what we're doing. Who's going to make the playoffs, right? Like basically. I I I can't see them beating the Chiefs. I mean, I guess you
Right.
can within the division, potentially, maybe a one-score game or whatever, but, like, overall record, I think it's gonna be the Chiefs. Um,
Probably by a couple of games, honestly, like at least two.
let me talk to you about Raiders Island. No,
Oh, God.
no, I'm kidding. Uh, yeah, I mean, I think the Broncos are a legit challenge. I think if the Chargers can stay healthy
Hampton at
and
running back helps, I think, because they've also kind of been a committee.
Dobbins was fantastic last year for them,
Fair,
and they now they have a
fair.
better guy. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm just saying that, like, I don't trust Justin Herbert. I think he's
Sure.
in the best situations he's been in since he's, like, got in the league with Harbaugh.
You did get Keenan
So
Allen back too, which seems right with the world.
it does make more sense,
Yeah.
for
But
sure.
yeah, but yeah, I'm with you. Like, though both of those teams could be in the playoff discussion, but that's not what we're doing. We're picking the division winner, so and that
That's
is
right.
clear cut Chiefs. I do think at minus 115 though, they're worth throwing in there.
Absolutely. The next division is, I would say, probably the most complicated next to
Yeah,
NFC South.
yeah. So you got to be talking about the NFC North. So
Yes. Yes, sir.
yeah, NFC North. It's throw a dart. I don't know. Like all those teams could be good. They've all got question marks too. But you've got the Lions at plus 160. So again, it's another division where everybody's in the plus. So plus 160, they're the favorites. The Packers at plus 260, the Vikings at plus 300, and then the Bears at plus 500. We've talked about the Bears on the previous two episodes, so I don't think we really need to get into our thoughts on them too much.
Yeah,
The
because we're
Vikings.
already regretting that first bet.
I don't. I still don't think that they're gonna go over their win total,
God
despite
damn.
Caleb Williams throwing for a lot of yards. But
Even their backup got
they
the
got
$10 million.
yeah, just in
Badgett, whatever
case,
his name
just in
is.
case it doesn't work out.
He looked
Uh,
good.
Yeah. So you got the Vikings, obviously, Justin Jefferson, at least the top three wide receiver in the NFL. But they're going to depend entirely upon like how good JJ McCarthy is. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that at all last year with the injury, but he did have a year essentially to sit and kind of learn. So he could come in. I mean, we saw like Darnold come in right away and have success in that offense. Obviously Darnold being a veteran, I don't know if McCarthy's, going to be at that level, but he could come in and sling it around right away. So there's some, promise to that team. The Packers, the Packers have a lot of potential, but they've also got just a ton of injuries that continue to kind of plague that team, especially like with the wide receivers. And then Jordan Love, ran through a lot of those last year too. So there's a lot of question marks on just the health of that team. And then the Lions, obviously, was the class of the division, along with the Vikings last year, but the Lions lost both coordinators. So how much does that hurt them? The answer I can throw out mine is not enough to not win the division. I do have them winning. And that's largely because their defense was in shambles last season with injuries, and they're getting all those guys back. So I think that alone is enough to, set them apart, despite like losing their coordinators. I think obviously Dan Campbell's a kind of coach that gets the next man up kind of ready in advance. So I think he was already prepping for that, especially like when Ben Johnson could have left the year before. So I think that they're prepared, and I don't think the coordinator issue is going to really come into play that much. I think they've got too many weapons coming back on the defensive side of the ball. So if they can continue to do what they were doing and score, 40 plus points a game, I think the defense is going to be good enough to keep them on top of most matchups. So I've got the
Yeah,
Lions, but let me know what you're thinking.
I can't agree more. I mean, I obviously losing the coordinators is a huge blow, but like you can't think someone like Dan Campbell isn't preparing for that. Like
Yeah.
knowing that these guys are like, he's like new aged Andy Reid. Like he's creating these amazing or gathering this amazing talent around them, let them gain the experience, and then they can go be head coaches. Like he's starting his own like Andy Reid style tree at this point. They're too explosive on offense. They're too scary on defense, and then you're getting Aiden Hutchinson back.
Yeah.
I can't in good conscience go against the Lions. They've only won me money last year.
I mean, from any perspective,
except the playoff game against your Commanders where they lost me every parlay.
Yeah, I mean, that was a little bit of a shock on my side too, but a happy surprise. And I was on the Commander side of that thing why not?
I was taking photos of Bruce Springsteen. This is a humble brag. Taking photos of Bruce Springsteen that night, and I was so miserable because the Lions were losing. But I was so happy for you.
Yeah. I'll have to, man. I need to post like I'm doing on our social. Like, there's a video of me at the bar.
Oh my god,
last year.
I love that video.
Yeah, there's a couple of good videos actually. So
yeah,
we'll post a couple of those throughout the season. But yeah, that was fun for me. But I think we're both on the Lions, and that's one that kind of gives us some juice because it's plus 160.
Yes, but before we move on, I just want to say something about the other three. We already said a lot of stuff about the Bears. I think plus 500 is like a good spot for them. They could surprise everyone the way that people are talking about this team and how much they've improved and Ben Johnson, blah, 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 blah. That one makes a lot of sense. The Vikings. Justin Jefferson has a hamstring injury going into week 1. He might be starting week 1. They're already talking about trade rumors about like potentially getting some like veteran wide receiver talent around there. JJ has not played a professional football NFL game yet. There's a lot of question marks there. And then the Packers, we talked about them already. God damn it, they love getting hurt. The whole team loves getting hurt. So, Lions, 100%.
So it wasn't actually as hard as we said it might be.
It really wasn't.
Maybe all that, like
saying it out loud, really was
saying it out loud made me think, I'm actually pretty confident in the Lions winning this division. All right, another one that we might have a difference of opinion here, but maybe we don't. We'll see. So the NFC is the one that's near to our heart. I'm a, Commanders fan. You're a Giants fan. The Eagles are obviously the class of the division. Last year's Super Bowl winner, minus 135. But the thing as an NFC East, fan is nobody ever repeats as division champions. So are they going to break that trend? Right behind them are the Commanders at plus 220. I guess not really right behind them because plus 220 is a pretty big drop off. Cowboys are plus 550. And then the Giants, you might put some action on them, huh? Because they're plus 2,200 to win the division. Yeah, I'm gonna let you start on this one because my homerism might come into this a little bit. So let you set the baseline.
The vibes are immaculate, as I've already described with the Giants. Do I think that they currently right now can win the division? I think they could do anything. However.
They do anything.
However,
is that like a dad like telling their little kid, like, you could be president? Like,
you could be president.
Do you really think they're gonna be? I don't know.
However, as previously stated in the past 2 podcasts, my team has the hardest schedule
in the
entire NFL. So I'm not going to back them to win the division as much as I love them. We. In the most biased way possible, fuck the Cowboys, right?
I think we should do a pick where we pick the Giants to finish 3rd in the NFC East. That would be like,
ooh,
good.
I love that. I do like that. Let's look at those odds at a moment. Eagles won the Super Bowl. I hate them with a fiery passion. Not as much as the Cowboys, but I hate them with a fiery passion. I could see them being repeat. Like they did what the Eagles always do is like keep all of their veteran talent.
They did lose some veteran talents on defense, but they replaced them in the draft, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Sorry. They kept all their offensive talent.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts looks like a legit top 5 QB in the NFL. And
fantasy-wise, I'm not sure if I would put him in top 5.
He did win the Super Bowl.
He did win the Super Bowl, but there's been worse quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls.
Fair. Really like these Commanders. I'm just saying. I like them a lot.
I really like the Commanders too. I think if we follow with like the nobody repeats, then the Commanders are the obvious team that are there. So I'll let my homerism come out a little bit, but just also, following them closely, I think that they got much better. Obviously, there's a giant caveat of like, does Terry McLaurin play? So if he does not play, then I don't know where that leaves the team. Although if you look at last year's team, we had Terry McLaurin and then not a lot of other weapons. Like Zach Ertz was the number 2 wide receiver on that roster, really. But I think Terry McLaurin's going to come back, and then I think you're pairing him with Deebo Samuel. That's like a fun wrinkle for Cliff Kingsbury to play with. He only needed like 1 carry in the first possession of the preseason game against the Bengals to, show that he actually is still fast, and anybody that was calling him like out of shape or slow or something was out of their minds. He's going to be very motivated this season. You've got a team that really improved the offensive line through the draft, and with bringing Tunsil in to protect Jaden Daniels. A lot of what Jaden had to do last year was like just improvise because the pocket was breaking down. They didn't have the strength of the O-line to really give him more time in the pocket. I think we're going to see him be better as a passer, probably throw for more yards this year because he's going to have a little bit more time to see the field and not have to take off and run, even though he's good at it. When he does have to extend plays, I think it'll be more of like a Patrick Mahomes type thing now where he's extending plays and making something happen where there shouldn't be anything there, but he doesn't necessarily always have to do that. A lot of times he's going to be able to stay in the pocket and still make throws downfield. And then the defense, which was the issue primarily last year, it was the secondary and the pass rush. I don't know what the pass rush is going to look like. I don't think that like bringing in Von Miller is going to be the difference maker that we need. But I think, well, if you look at the Bengals, maybe in that preseason game, they got to Joe Burrow so often, like people were screaming at the television that they need to get him out of the game. So maybe they do have a pass rush. We'll see. But the secondary is going to be much better. We don't have, St. Juice back there at corner anymore. We've got Trey Amos that's going to be back there. Quan Martin is looking like he's really going to continue to take a step forward. Mikey Sanchez still, I think, is going to be a dog again this year. Then Marshawn Lattimore should be a healthy Marshawn Lattimore and not just be a shell of himself like he was, trying to come in and make a difference, really injured at the end of last year's. There's a lot to like about the team. They had an easy schedule last year, which I think is what led to 12 wins, but I do think that, getting 10, 11 wins is another, doable thing for them. And so, yeah, if anybody's going to knock off the Eagles, I think it's going to be the Commanders. So if we're of the same mindset, I'm willing to put them in the parlay at plus 220.
I love it. And I'm coming in with the one stat that I have, but like strength of schedule, right? We're talking about this is the only time we could talk about strength of schedule because when you say during the season,
it doesn't matter.
When you're saying it during the season, 5 games in, like you're screwed. Like it's already happening, but we're talking about it in advance. The Cowboys have the 5th hardest schedule. Eagles have the
5th,
the 4th.
Yeah.
Commanders have the 8th.
That's the difference. Yeah,
that's not saying that's the difference maker. The difference maker is Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Like he's legit, and he proved that after 1 season. It's the only reason I was like, is there anything going on with the Titans? Because like, is there another Jaden Daniels out there?
Yeah. I will say too, it's a good omen to like the Vegas line as far as like win totals. They had the Commanders at 9.5, but they had the Eagles at 10.5. So that's a close gap. So I think Vegas is also looking. Yeah, they're also looking at
when you did your prediction for like wins for Commanders. How many games did you think that like you guys have a chance of winning? Like what's your schedule like? Yeah, what's your record at the end of the season look like?
My home resume might be showing, but I did have them at 12-5 again as I went through it, and I had the Eagles at 11-6, so it's still like that one game. A lot of that's probably going to come down to their matchups against each other and who wins those.
Yeah.
So a lot of things to kind of come.
You also need the Giants. Giants can steal a win.
The Giants. I mean, yes, the Giants and the Cowboys. Like everybody really in the East tends to play each other tough. I mean, the Commanders.
I don't know about the Cowboys.
Well, the Commanders beat the Commanders lost to the Cowboys in the first game last year. So
that's fair.
It was with Jaden Daniels having like a broken rib. So let's put a little caveat on that, I guess. But yeah, so we're throwing Commanders in at plus 220, which brings us to the NFC baby. South. NFC South could be a little tough. We'll see. The Bucs, who won the division last year, minus 115. Baker Mayfield obviously showed a lot last year. They've got a ton of weapons on the offensive side of the ball. They got a healthy Chris Godwin apparently is going to be coming back, or at least he's going to be playing right away. Mike Evans is Mike Evans. He's going to do his 1,000-yard thing more than likely. And then Bucky Irving was the standout running back, I think, that kind of came out of nowhere last year and then has become like a darling of like fantasy football. And I think we had him in a ton of our bets too. So I think he's going to have a great season. So there's a lot to like about the Bucs. And then you do have the Falcons at plus 230 behind them. Michael Penix, played a little bit last year after they finally gave up on good old Kirko Cousins. And, they've got a lot of weapons there with the Falcons, obviously, with Bijan Robinson and everybody loves Kyle Pitts. Everybody wants to get a little Kyle Pitts action. Yeah, the Drake London is obviously a dog there. The Panthers are plus 450. I'm in Charlotte. There's some optimism behind the Panthers because Bryce Young, started to look like he was showing some progression last year after, being benched for a while for Dalton. He kind of came back after, that Commanders game, actually. And then he looked pretty good the rest of the season. At least showed some flashes of what made them, invest way too much to draft him. But they're hoping that that's not going to be wasted, and then he's going to be the guy that can go through and be the franchise quarterback here. So there's some optimism around the Panthers. There is not any optimism, I don't think, around the Saints, who are plus 1,500, trying to debate, which quarterback is going to start for them, and none of their options are good. So yeah, Al, who day is that what you want to go with, or are you you like one of the other favorites?
I really love the Saints. No, I'm gonna just keep doing that joke. I really like the Bucks when they are healthy, like Baker when he has targets, like Evans, like Godwin. Like we missed a lot of Godwin last year, and they still did very well.
Yeah. Evans was hurt for a good bit too, and then came back. Like, I mean, they were not full strength for that much.
No, I mean, Mike Evans literally made 1,000 yards at the last play of the last game just so he can get his incentive. Yeah. I think the Panthers are tracking really well, like progressing well. If what we saw of Young last season, I already talked about this. I'm definitely on the Panthers train this year, potentially with some bets, but to win the division, Baker's kind of got a Joe Burrow. I mean, he's Joe Burrow before Joe Burrow, but like he has like I will die on this field level of play that like is rare. Like he's really fun to watch, and when he's in the zone, like there's no one better.
Great actor too. I really miss his commercials. I feel like somebody's got to get him a new deal.
He's got a new deal. He's doing Popeyes. Popeyes has like I think he's doing
Popeyes.
That
for him. I gotta go watch those.
Wait, is it It's one of those. It's one of the chains. I'm not gonna look it up.
Send it to me on the side. Yeah,
I will. So, I think the Falcons are in good shape. Like Bijan is absolutely incredible. I liked what I saw at Penix. This is probably what I was aiming towards when I said like the toughest pick. I have to go with Bucks right now. When all is said and done, it's a very like a Bengals situation of just like their offense can be so explosive it almost makes up for all their faults. But watch out for the Panthers because I'm scared. I think they might be good.
They're
this
a fun team to take a flyer on. I don't think for this, like you said, but they'd be a good team to maybe do some bets. I definitely think over their win total. They were one that we talked about. But didn't ultimately go with them in our parlay.
Probably should have.
We should have probably. Yeah. we need to redo those.
Why? And also, why did we do Mike Evans for 1,000 yards and it was plus money?
I don't know.
That was dumb.
Let's not worry about that, okay? Let's just focus on the now and now, which is the Bucks minus 115. Throw them in as the division winners, and then get to our last division, the NFC West, one that I think comes down to two teams probably for both of us. You got the 49ers at plus 150. You've got the Rams plus 195, Cardinals plus 425, and then Seahawks plus 550. This is a division that always seems to kind of go not the way that you think it's going to go. Obviously, the 49ers bit us last year. They're still like injury bidden. Like apparently CMC coming back healthy somehow traded like all their other players for getting injured because they're trotting like wide receivers out there that I don't know. You're not going to know the names of most of them, like starting week one, other than Ricky Pearsall. They're really banged up. So you really just got to trust that CMC is going to be healthy if you want to go with the 49ers to win the West. The Rams are the other team that I think is really in contention here. A lot of that has to do with the health of Matt Stafford. So it does look like he's training to play week one. They've been really cautious with him, like all camp. And obviously he's not going to do any preseason action. So you're really just relying on him to be healthy if you want to pick the Rams. The Cardinals and the Seahawks, they could just as easily be the surprises. I think they've got a lot of positives, for them, but I don't think that they're really in contention to win the division this year. But it'd be interesting to see who really finishes like second, and who I don't think any of those teams are going to be blown out. I think they're all kind of going to be around like that 500 mark just based off of like having to play each other. I think I had the Cardinals for 8 wins, Seahawks for 7 wins, and then I have the 49ers and the Rams both at 10 and 7. So it's kind of a toss up for me. It's just really going to come down to which one you trust more to be healthy. Right now, my pick is the Rams because I think Stafford is trending in the right direction. I could be lean to your side if you're on the opposite side and you like the 49ers or somebody else, but I think at the moment I'm leaning with the Rams.
At the moment, I hate everyone in this division. I
we just drop this one out, honestly.
I would drop this one out because we already said no more 49ers. Like they killed us last year. There's obviously a potential for a bounce back, but there's so many question marks.
Yeah.
And saying that Ricky Pearsall, who had literally got shot last year, or technically 2 years ago, is wide receiver 1, going from a decent rookie year. It's not like we had a Brian Thomas Jr. rookie year.
Yeah, he had a strong finish when called upon. Yeah,
strong finish. I don't trust that team. I don't trust Matthew Stafford. He's 100 years old. We're approaching Aaron Rodgers levels of like, why are you still playing? Like, go retire. Like, why do you want to get hit? So, don't like the Rams. Cardinals, I feel like every year they're like, oh, this is gonna be this is gonna be the year. This is gonna be Kyler's year. We're gonna have a great Cardinal season, and they always just are like mediocre at best. McBride's great. Kyler's great. Marvin Harrison could have a big year too.
James Conner's really consistent. Yeah,
James Conner's
it comes down to the play of Kyler Murray. So
yeah. And then the Seahawks are a big question mark, right? We got Sam Darnold, who got a stupid contract after playing a miraculous season and one of the most forgetful playoffs I've ever seen from a quarterback.
So lost out there.
100%. Towards the end of the season, he just looked lost. So he got paid. Good for him. Happy for him. They also lost DK. They're you got JSN moving up from wide receiver 2 to wide receiver 1. There's a lot of question marks.
He's really good. He's
really, really good.
I'm not fan of JSN, but
not saying he's
it
a
would be nice
question
to have JSN and DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf, yes. Exactly. And who they get? Pickens?
No, Pickens is a Cowboy.
Oh, God. Why? What idiots. Stupid Cowboys. All right, let's skip this division.
The Seahawks, for the record, they have Cooper Kupp.
Oh, Cooper Kupp. Sorry, that's what I was thinking of. They could surprise us. Darnold would have to have another great year, but I don't see it.
They could be the surprise team, but yeah, I do think there's just too many question marks about everybody in this division that if we're just trying to craft a parlay that we do want to potentially win, it would be probably good if we did not include this division in the parlay. So what are we looking at? What are our odds? What's the $20 turn into?
So we're going Chiefs to win the AFC West. We're going the Texans to win the AFC South. We are going the Lions to win the NFC North, and we are going with the Commanders winning the NFC East. I feel comfortable with those 4. How do you feel?
Okay. Yeah, I like those. And we
What's
just want to stick to 4? Well, I'm just saying there's a couple other ones. Once
I tell you the odds, you tell me if you want to add anything else. It's currently plus 3,088.
That's a lot.
It's not bad.
No. So $20 nets us
$637.74.
It's not a bad investment on 20. Yeah.
What do you want to throw on there? Like, what makes you feel comfortable? The only thing I'm missing is what the Ravens or maybe the Ravens.
Yeah, I think that. But then we do have a lot of faith in the Bengals. I don't know the Ravens at minus 170. The Bills. We could throw the Bills on at minus 330 if that even makes it worth it. But I think that they're kind of like the lock of all the divisions, honestly. But
I like. If you do the 5 picks and we add the Ravens to win the AFC North, it makes it plus 4,964, 20 to win $1,012.89.
Just throw the Bills in there too.
God damn it, you're a sicko.
plus, I think you just. Is there any way that the Bills don't win the division? No, I don't think there's any way that the Bills don't win that division.
Plus 64.99, 20
boom.
To win $1,319.82.
Hey, there you go. There's the parlay.
Boom.
I love it.
All right, let's quickly do these playoff winners so we can get some sleep.
So I think, there was a couple teams that we talked about that we don't necessarily think are going to have to win the division, but we think could go through and make the playoffs, like you said. So I think we got to throw them in another ill-advised parlay, right?
Absolutely.
So which four though do we feel the best about, the best of the rest? So is this one where we want to try to go through and include somebody from the West, like the 49ers and the Rams? Do you want to include the Bucks? I mean, obviously the Eagles, I think, are the first team that you're going to throw in there. They're not a division winner. There's no way they're not making the playoffs. So I think the Eagles that, are going to have to be a part of that parlay.
To make the playoffs, yeah.
Yeah.
But are we trying to go with like ones that we think can make the playoffs for like higher odds? Or are we going with shoe-ins? Because like
I would say the Broncos at plus. Well, I don't know what the Broncos are to make the playoffs. They're plus 250 to win the division. So if you want to build it live,
minus 155.
Okay. What are the Chargers?
Chargers are minus 130.
They're basically the same thing. We could include one or both of those. Like from the AFC, I think unless we went with the Patriots, which would probably be a lot more money, the Bengals, obviously. So I think we're looking at Bengals, Patriots potentially, the Broncos, and the Chargers of being the teams that make the playoffs, not as division winners.
Yeah. So Bengals. One more time. I'm too slow to build a parlay.
No, you're good. Bengals, Patriots are one that we could consider. They're kind of like the highest odds one you'd probably get. The Broncos and the Chargers. So those are the only ones that I think make sense to throw in from the AFC side of things. And then we can whittle it down to just 4, like as a combo.
Yeah, plus 972 is Bengals, Patriots, Broncos, Chargers.
So we can play with the NFC and see if we want to throw one of them in there instead. So I don't know about NFC North, like with all the question marks between Packers and Vikings, but those would be potential options. The Eagles probably aren't even worth anything.
Commanders are minus 150.
I mean, so we could do we're betting on them to win the division, but at the same time we're also betting on them to make the playoffs. I mean, that's probably worth it. So
I would take them over the Chargers.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, let's throw the Commanders in. Do we want to stay away from the South and the West? We got the Falcons, Panthers. I don't think the Panthers are there yet. So you'd be looking at the Falcons potentially, Rams or 49ers if we wanted to add one of those in.
Yeah, I can't. I'm going to tell you right now that the 49ers are still minus 210 even after last season. It's crazy. Okay. They are expecting such a big bounce back that I'm a little scared.
All right, let's not touch them then. Do you want to get some juice out of the NFC North, Packers and or Vikings?
Yeah, let's do Packers.
Okay. I mean, they're a playoff team. I think that they'll get there. So yeah, let's sub the Packers in.
For who?
Who doesn't give us any juice out of the ones that we've already got?
Everyone but the Patriots.
Yeah. So I mean, do we want to leave the Patriots in there, or are we concerned? I mean, they obviously were a 4-win team last year, so we're asking a lot for them to make that jump.
It's a big jump. That's why they're priced at plus 115 because people are expecting them to make the big jump.
Well, I don't know that I'm really expecting to make that big of a jump. I think they might get to 500. Let's take the Patriots out and sub in the Packers and see what that gives us.
Plus 705. It's not amazing, but
yeah, but it's a very likely one though because we're looking what are the 4 teams that we got in there?
Broncos, Commanders, Bengals, and Packers.
Yeah, I mean. I think that's a winning.
It's sad that the Bengals are the question mark.
I don't think they're a question mark because I think they're probably they're going to be the top wild card potentially. So
didn't make the playoffs last year.
Yeah. So the only one we're maybe cheating with a little bit in my mind is the Commanders because we're picking them to win the division. But I think it makes sense to double down since they're only a minus 150.
Hear me out.
Oh boy,
we have so much.
If you say Titans right now, we're just ending the podcast.
That would be funny. Hear me out. We take the Bengals out because we have so much high expectations for them with the win totals and the win total parlay that we've added later. Why don't we put it on a team that we maybe don't have too much on that we can kind of root for throughout the season? So we took the Bengals off because Packers we don't have a lot of bets in, Broncos we don't have a lot of bets in. Commanders, obviously, we do. So we already have one that's we're kind of clinging on to because it's a favorite of yours. So we could go back to throwing the Patriots in there. We could look at the Falcons.
I like the Falcons. I think that they've got so many weapons on the offensive side of the ball that if Penix plays well, and that would give us some juice. I think that's a safer bet, especially in that division. They could potentially win it than looking at the Patriots. So.
All right. So we have for the final playoff parlay, which again, we will share these on our social accounts in case you can't follow us literally.
Because we don't even
live.
follow what we're doing right now.
Exactly. We have the Denver Broncos to make the playoffs. We have the Washington Commanders to make those playoffs. The Green Bay Packers to make the playoffs. And the Atlanta Falcons to make the playoffs. 4-pick parlay plus $10.98, $20 to win. $239.72.
Yeah. All right. That's better juice, and I still feel good about those 4 teams.
Ben, we did the thing that we said we were never going to do on this podcast. We went over 30 minutes, and we went way over. But it makes sense. We covered a lot, and we're going to be doing probably one more. It's not going to be as long. One more preseason futures focused episode. So make sure you look out for that. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Don't Tail This, just like the name of the podcast, at Don't Tail This, for all the bets that we put in this episode and past episodes, and then what bets we're going to be putting in weekly. So make sure you check those social accounts to get all of those bet slips. But more importantly, don't tail this.
Don't tail this, yeah. Not... Don't take any of this advice. Yeah. But I'm excited to see how we can play these out. It'll be a fun thing to look at like mid-season and then come back to it.
Absolutely. On behalf of myself and Ben over there, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. We'll see you next time. Take care. Don't Tail This is produced by Al Mannarino and Ben Murchison. Edited by Al Mannarino. Theme song by Lucas Jones. Follow Don't Tail This on Instagram and Twitter at Don't Tail This. We are committed to responsible gaming. Please visit www.rg-help.com to learn more about the resources and helplines available. Never bet more than you can afford to lose, and always bet responsibly, which of course means don't tail this.